Hello. So we are back with our in continuation to our previous lecture. So we'll do the part two of this cost now. Uh, so we were talking about dry dock in the previous lecture. Now, okay. Now, what happens is accounting treatment. Even though dry dock occurs every few years, that means, as I told you, we have two dry docks between a span of 5 years. So usually I can take between 2.5 years. There's a dry dock the vessel need to go to. So it is not treated as a single one-off cost in budget. So instead the ship owner amortize the estimated dry dock cost across the operating period. Example, the cost is around $300,000. So you spread this cost in about 36 months. This ensures smooth annual budgeting and avoids cost spike. So there could be variation, I mean, you have estimate of $300,000, but when you go for dry dock, possibly you find some extra work, extra street renewal, so it will go up. But still, initially you have already budgeted for this one. So in dry dock, possibly there are some variation which you can always tackle it at that point of time. Okay. Then there's a communication cost. So modern ship require constant connectivity for crew communication, email, limited internet, operational report, noon report, log, weather routing, navigation safety updates, nav area warning, ECDIS chart update. But these are all done digitally through internet. Real-time performance monitor. Typical system is that VSAT satellite internet, fleet broadband. Your fleet may have a certain internet facilities given. Inmarsat Iridium satellite voice, email and data management. So these are the costs for communication, which the ship has to allot a certain amount of fund for that. Now again, I made a chart for you. Like there are three heads: repair, maintenance, dry docking, communication, maintaining reliability, mandatory detailed inspection, and overall every year. That's for dry docking. And communication, operational report, navigation, safety, crew welfare. And what is the cost nature? Repair is continuous, plus occasional breakdown. Dry docking, you keep certain portion for every year, and during the time of dry dock, the money is used. And communication is fixed monthly charges for satellite, internet, phone. Voyage-related costs also cause the voyage expenses are costs that arise only because the ship is performing a specific voyage. As you mentioned earlier, the voyage, your expenses can differ between different voyages. They depend on the trade route, distance, port used, cargo operation method, and canal passage. They are not incurred when the vessel is idle, therefore are separate from daily operating cost. One of the major expenses is the fuel cost. So the bunker refer to the fuel consumed by the vessel, including there are this one type and use for, like heavy oil, your low sulfur fuel, very low sulfur fuel, managed during sea passage, MGO, MDO, auxiliary, or when you are in an ECA. ECA is the emission controlled area. There are many parts of the world where you are restricted to emit or restricted to use certain good quality of fuel. So in ECA area, so your sulfur content should not be more than 0.1% in the fuel. Other areas, non-ECA areas, you can use up to 0.5%. So naturally, when you are buying this MGO, these are expensive fuel. Cylinder oil, lubricant oil, sometimes included separately, lubricating for machinery. So these are the expenses for bunkers which we have to undertake. The fuel cost depend upon the price are very volatile. So highly volatile in global market, depend upon speed and distance. So the more speed you try to do, you possibly tend to use more fuel, and of course, directly proportional to the your distance the ship travels. Nowadays, many time the ship owners, especially the new buildings, they come with a guaranteed speed and consumption. That means they will tell you that my ship will, by guarantee, will do certain, say, 14 knots at, say, 22 tons of fuel consumption. So sometimes the charterers will also tell you that, if there is no hurry, they will ask you to possibly steam at economical speed so that you don't burn much of fuel. And naturally, if you're burning less fuel, possibly that much emission is less and that much pollution is less. The weather condition, with weather getting bad, so there are a couple of things which can affect the vessel. The speed can get affected. Naturally, your speed is get affected. You're taking more time. You're burning more fuel. Sometimes you make a little bit of a deviation to avoid that spot where possibly the cyclone or depression is taking place. So that is also an extra time add to cost of fuel. Hull and propeller condition. So what happens is your speed also depends upon how clean is your ship's hull. Now what happens is over the time, the ship's hull tend to attract barnacles. So they're there, so it becomes rough. There are many sea particles which goes and sticks to the ship side. So naturally, your friction increases. So when your friction increases, your speed gets affected. So even that can happen in the propeller. So what happens in the dry dock, we try to, clean those areas properly, paint it and put an anti-fouling paint. So anti-fouling paint means it does not allow the hull to get fouled. But it can depend upon if your vessel has waited or in anchor for in certain area for a very long time. So this barnacles, what we call it, and your particles, they come and stick to the ship side, which ultimately affect the ship speed. So since bunker are often the largest component of voyage cost, speed reduction, slow steaming can significantly reduce fuel cost. Port cost, another major cost. So naturally, a vessel has to go to a port for doing operations, your loading and discharging. So these costs charged by port authorities are related services provided every time a ship calls at a port. Port costs depend on GRT, deadweight, and LOA. So mostly it is GT or GR or gross tonnage. So because if you come to India, so your charges are taken mostly for on a calculated basis your gross tonnage of the vessel. So what are the elements of this cost? The port will charge you tug charges, assistance for vessel berthing, unberthing, pilotage fees, the local pilot who guides your vessel safely inside, berth wharfage charges, payment using the berth and the port facility. There's the berth hire charges. You port nowadays it is in India it is hourly basis. Port dues and light dues. So port dues, general port infrastructure you pay to the port dues, and light dues you pay to for the navigation service to the lighthouse authorities. Agency fees. Agency fees are for the agent who you will be appointing as a ship owner to handle your vessel in port. And sometimes this mooring, unmooring fees, this could be part of the port charges, or they may possibly make a separate heading for your port charges. So port charges vary greatly between region. If you take a port charge in Singapore or go to West Africa or go to Europe, you will find for the same vessel, they are charged differently in different ports. Canal dues. So what are canals? There are basically major 3 or 4 canals, or you pay money for passing certain areas. So the Suez Canal, which connects the Mediterranean and the Red Sea. So a vessel has to go through the canal. So naturally, you are saving a lot of distance, because if you are going to Suez, you are possibly saving a distance and time passing the Cape of Good Hope. So they charge you, and mind you, they are not cheap. So you pay this to the Suez authorities. Similarly, Panama Canal connects this Atlantic and Pacific. So that also reduces voyage by quite a distance. So you pay. Kiel Canal. So that's in Europe. So that is, you pay again to the authorities when you are crossing Kiel Canal. So canal fees are usually calculated based on ship's type, net tonnage, or Suez and Panama has got their own tonnage calculation. So you pay as per that. So sometimes the cargo type and draft also. So there can be a very significant, for example, loaded crude tanker transiting Suez can incur $100,000 or $1,000 in one passage. So usually, I have seen that, if you are a Supramax vessel, that is a 50 or 50 and 6,000 tons vessel crossing Suez Canal, it easily pays very close to $200,000 for one passage, So they are not cheap. But again, when you calculate with the present bunker price and number of days it takes your rounding the Cape, so it makes a lot of sense. Loading discharging cost. Naturally, when the ship goes to a port, the ship has to load and unload. So there is a cost to be paid. So you pay this cost mostly to the people who are handling the cargo. So while being load and discharge, the structure of this charges depend upon who provides the cargo handling equipment. Somebody has to pay. So type of ship, liner trade, container vessel, port terminal, who provides the services, and usually paid by the ship operator. Now, tramp and bulk carrier, those type of ships, who provides shore stevedores or sometimes ship's crane. Could be charters, depend on owners, depending on the charter party. Now, if you are, suppose a bulk carrier is coming to port, or a tramp vessel is coming to port, and depend upon what type of cargoes. So if a ship is equipped with the equipment, ship gears is used, but depend upon who is engaging the stevedore. It could be, if it's a liner trade, the owners will be engaging the stevedores and paying for it. And if it is your chartered vessel, the cargo is free in, free out, then the charters will be engaging. But anyway, there's a cost to it. So sometimes the cost may come to the owners if it's a voyage cost, and if it is the vessel is on time charter, it may not come to the owners. So depend upon who is under what charter party the vessel is in. Tanker, terminal manifold pipeline management. So usually the port does that. So whether the ship owner or the charterers pays depend on the charter type agreement. Under type charter, charterers pay voyage cost. Under voyage charter, ship owner pays voyage related cost and the port dues. And mind you, they are also not cheap. They are quite expensive. And in India, if you see, there are two types of ports. There are private ports like Mundra, like Gangavaram, like Dhamra. So they are private ports. But if you come to Mumbai, the Mumbai is again a government-owned port. If you go to Kandla, it's a government-owned port. If you go to Haldia, Chennai, government-owned port. So you'll find certain slight difference between the tariff, the same vessel going to a private port and to your government port. The logic is basically the private ports are possibly, they have modern ports, so they have equipments which are faster turnaround. That's the reason they charge you more. Now, cost categories. Summing up of things, bunker, port cost, canal dues, loading, discharging. Why occurred? I've given reason. Fuel for proportional bunkers, port cost using port facility, canal dues, transiting special waterways, and loading, discharging, cargo handling. Paid by whom? During voyage, I mentioned. Each paid when? During voyage, bunker, port cost at each port, canal when transiting, and cargo during operations. And who the main cost drivers? engine efficiency. If your engine is efficient, you will be consuming lesser fuel. Possibly that helps you in your control on the cost. Port dues depend upon tariff and the vessel size. Canal dues fixed by the authorities depending upon what tonnage, Panama tonnage, Suez tonnage. Loading, discharging, charter party terms, port equipments, and you can negotiate with the stevedots on a liner cost at how much you will be paying for that. So, what is the importance of preparing and monitoring budget in ships management? It is important. You have to prepare a budget. You have to foresee. It is not that, as and when the cost is coming, you are paying in. You have to budget for it. And especially in ship management. Because ship management, when I suppose I'm a ship owner, I give a ship for managing to you. You are a ship operator or a ship manager. So I expect that you give me a fair estimate of how much I'll be spending on my vessel, how much cost I will be spending. So you have to give me as a ship manager, what are the estimated cost? What are the fixed costs I need to pay you? What are the variable costs I need to pay you? So you give a budget to this one. And it is important to keep a record that how we are performing in that budget. Are we within the budget? Are we still saving something? Or are we going overboard? Or we need some extra money? So a ship is a high value capital asset with continuous expenses. To manage its efficiency, ship manager must plan, control, and report financial performance. Reporting is very important, because you have to have a review regularly. That means if you are within the budget or not. If not, why? Why we are not within the budget? This is done through budget preparation and budget monitoring. 1. Ensure cost control and financial discipline. Operating a ship involves many variables and fixed costs, crew, maintenance, insurance, fuel, port, repairs, etc. The budget sets the expected cost level with each category, allowing management to 1. Track actual spending against planned spending. So there is a comparison. That means I have planned, say, X, and my expense are X plus or X minus. Identify overspending early. That means I need to, the budgeting and monitoring, I will be monitoring, the system will tell me, well, this particular cost is increasing slow by daily. So I will possibly do certain things, ensure that it does not cross what I had estimated. Identify overspending early, track, take corrective action, reduce store, optimize bunker, change port calls, etc. So that is a corrective action we need to take. So few things, we say change port call, it may not be possible because I'm destined to go to a port. I have to go to a port. I cannot change that. But what I can do, the bunkering, I can possibly en route, if I can take bunker from a cheaper place, even few dollars your bunker per ton, if I can save, overall becomes a big amount. Okay, and reduce store. Of course, you cannot cut drastically on the store, but you don't have to over order. That means so whatever is required basically to run the ship with a sufficient amount of spare, you order it. Do not overstuff your ship. So without a budget, cost can easily escalate, especially in repair or fuel. So it helps ship owners forecast profitability. The ship owners, why he has invested so much of money? He wants to make money. He wants to make a profit. The ship owners need to know how much revenue the vessel will earn first, how much it costs to operate. Budgeting help. How does budget help? Profit is equal to income from charterers versus freight, operating cost, and voyage cost. So there is income from the charterer. Suppose you carry a cargo on voyage term. So 50,000 tons you have cargo you have carried, and the freight is say $20. So your freight is $1 million. So that is your income. That is your credit. What then your goes out is the voyage cost and the operating cost. So whatever is balanced thereafter is your profit. The actual budget always allow owners to decide whether to trade, lay up, or sell the vessel. So what happens is which business to take. The owner's commercial team decides. So suppose you get a cargo order. You know your vessel's cost. You know the operating cost. You know everything, how much you are spending for each day. Then you make a calculation, voyage calculation. That means I know my operating cost. Then I make a voyage. I go to a port. I load the vessel. I get a fair estimate of how much the port is going to charge. I take the port cost. I take the stevedoring cost. I make estimate of number of days the vessel is going to be at sea. How much this one I'm going to consume, fuel I'm to consume, and discharge port also. I take the cost of the vessel going to the port and discharging. Engage if I have to engage the steward of that cost. So I have to see the earning and this all cost added together. If there's a canal involved, so I add the canal cost. If I'm passing through HRA, I put the your arm guard cost, and then I see that if I still after deducting all this thing from the earning I have got, I make money or not. So then possibly I take a decision. Well, this is not making a money. I'm making money in it, so I will wait for a business which will give me little more money, or at least I'm break even. In certain time, what happens? Owners do take a call that even on a negative business, they take a business. The reason is, suppose he want to position his vessel in that particular area, because that area possibly could be a demand area. So he knows I may be going say $1,000 or $2,000 less per day, but when I go there, I will earn $4,000, $5,000 more per day. So there is a conscious call which the commercial team takes, and of course, the when the vessel is fairly used, then you decide, what is to be done. I mean, you have to lay up the vessel. That means it is not making any sense. Sometimes the market is extremely bad. So running the vessel also becomes difficult, So then you think, okay, I will lay up the vessel for a certain time. I will reduce my crew. I keep the minimum safe manning, and I will lay up till the market becomes better. So they give you. We have seen this in 2006 and 7 when the market really crashed. A lot of ships were laid up and laid up with minimum people on board, 6, 8 people on board, and they were waiting for that. So it took little time for the market to revive. And when the market came back normal, then again they started put the crew back again and started running those vessels. So also, what charter rates are there? How much sense it makes for the owners to accept the charter rate and keep the vessel engaged. So these all decisions where the owners take depend upon what cost the vessel is in, and doing that possibly business or taking that business or laying up, what makes most sense. Support strategic planning and decision making. Budget helps determine one, when major repair dry docks are affordable, whether to replace equipment or extend vessel life, when to upgrade technology, fuel efficiency improvement. So what is happening nowadays, we see the regulation changes. Recently, what happens in, I think, in 2020, so so the regulation changed that, regarding the emission of from the vessel. That means you cannot emit you should have your restricted your percentage of sulfur in emission. So there was what that IMO came back with a rule that you would have a sulfur content reduced in your fuel. So there were option given. Either you use a better fuel, which is 0.5 or 0.1, depending upon which area you are trading. Otherwise, you put a scrubber. Now, scrubber is when you exhaust gas which comes out, instead of putting it into the your atmosphere, so you put it through a scrubber, but it is cleaned and all, and a cleaner air is you let out from the vessel. So putting a scrubber was an expense again. No, so owner need to decide: do I go for expensive fuel, or I take that scrubber on a long time perspective that I can use that old fuel, but I have a scrubber. So on my residual life of my vessel, is it effective to put a scrubber? I pay close to $1 million, or I will use this new fuel, which is a bit expensive. So these expenses may come in. So many, I mean, nowadays, this your regulations keeps on changing, and the vessel to be still tradable. That means she still need to be at sea. So all these rules need to be your followed, and there could be some expenses involved for upgrading the vessel to meet with those criteria. So when upgrading technology, example, fuel efficiency improvement, whether to switch trade route to avoid a high canal cost or bunker cost. So that also is one. Recently, what has happened is now with this your issues in the Red Sea. So this piracy and those attacks by the terrorists from the Yemen side. So a lot of ships, most of the ships, they start avoiding going to Red Sea, but they didn't have any other option but to go through the your Cape of Good Hope. So there is an increase in cost. So somebody has to absorb that cost. So owners also need to pass that cost to somebody. So ultimately, it pass on to the cargo, to the charterers. So bunker link technical decisions to financial impact. So this is analysis done. I mean, how much is your your bunker you are consuming, and what are the impact which is having on your finances. So how you can possibly manage that. Improves operational and performance monitoring. So it is a comparison, budget versus actual. The budget is expected spend, actual spend, and what is the variation. So who can do it? The managers can do it, because managers has given a budget to the owners. So efficiency, he will see cost saving, inefficiency, excess consumption. This lead to better condition and operational reliability. So the performance is very important to see if there is any variation. Am I within the projection I had given to the owners, the managers will see. And if I'm trying to your overshoot that projection I had given, what should I be doing to ensure that my projection does not go wrong? So monitoring and presentation of financial result. So once the budget is prepared and approved, the manager must monitor and report performance at regular interval. It could be monthly, it could be quarterly, it could be half yearly. So they give it to the owners, and owners see, well, that means that there is no shocks coming in, and if at all some red light is there, he's need to talk to the managers and see how that could be addressed. So key steps: record actual cost. All invoices and payments are recorded under specific cost category. So, but whatever expenses the owner, the managers are making, so there is invoice to it, and he has to show that this is the expenses I have made. So that is for the crew, because your crew has to join. There's a wages given to the crew. There is a cost of getting him, repatriation cost of the crew. So that has to be shown. Repair cost, if any repair has been taken, that invoice to be shown. Store, what store has been supplied. Bunker, if at all it is managers your critical to supply bunkers. Port charges, insurance. So all invoices are to be collated and shown, depending upon what all need to be given to the charter, to the owners. See, if the vessel is on charter, so possibly like port charger need not to be given, but that is charter's expense. Bunker need not to be given, that is the charter's expense. But if the vessel is again doing a voyage business, so this expenses again goes to the owner. So some example, like here, variance in report is generated, cost item, budget cost, actual cost, and variance. So let us take the crew cost first. The budgeted cost was $320,000. So actual cost was $350,000. So green $5,000 you have saved. So it isn't within the budget. Less repairs. They had projected $150,000 as repair cost, but you have spent $210,000. So 60,000 more you have spent. And reason could be unplanned pump failure. So there's excess. So this is how the report is compared. Chief managers must justify cost overrun in clear term. That why did the cost go up? Reason could be emergency repair. So unexpected, suppose a pump has failed and you have to repair it or possibly replace the pump. Then the crew, suppose there's a change in the crew wages. There's a collective bargain agreement says, okay, well, the new agreement says there's revised salary for the crew. So anybody coming thereafter, so there's a change in cost. And higher bunker price. The change in the bunker price, which you've estimated has gone up. So there is an additional cost coming in. So present result to the ship owner. So it is the duty of the ship manager to present the result to the ship owner for their study. So results are usually presented monthly, quarterly, annually. This ensures transparency and accountability. So why this matters? Why this result given to the owner matters? Predictable earnings, benefits I'm talking about. Predictable earnings, projection of asset value, and better business decision. So when I see that that the report with the managers of government, I can predict that well things are going. So I can possibly have an estimate of my earning of the future. Protect of asset value. That means I know that it is within the budget, the vessel has been maintained and my asset has been protected. And better business decision. So possibly it helps me to take a better informed decision for the future. Benefit to ship manager. So what is the benefit of ship manager? Demonstrate cost and control competency. That means they are competent for cost control and to remain within the budget. Build confidence and long-term contract. That means the owner get confidence on them. Is that I have chosen a right manager. So of course the confidence goes up. And prevent dispute and misunderstanding. So there's more clarity comes in. In summary, budgeting and financing monitoring are essential in ship management because, number one, it controls and minimizes operating cost. Help forecast profitability and chartering decision. Support strategic planning and maintenance and dry docking. Improves operational efficiency and accountability. Provide transparent reporting to ship owners. So a well-managed budget ensures a ship remains safe, compliant, efficient, and profitable throughout its operational life. So what happens is, whenever you are giving your ship to the manager, so managers, your main job is to ensure that during the contract period, whatever time the vessel is given to this manager, she is to remain seaworthy, all certificates intact, complying with the ISM regulations, complying with SOLAS, complying with MARPOL. So everything is the responsibility of this your manager, who has taken this job for technically managing the ship. So it is, and as we started in the beginning of the lecture, is this is it gives a lot of ease to the owner, because then see the commercial decision many times the owner keep for themselves. They will decide but what cargo to, because he's scanning the market. Is a different team, a chartering team, and he knows where to put the market. But what happens nowadays, if you are going suppose to a business to Europe, to US, to Australia, So there they are very, very particular what type of vessel those ships are, those charters are accepting. So something it is known as, the vessels get your a certain your I would say star which has been given by some inspection authorities. Like for bulk carriers, there is something known as right ship. So when you put your vessel on a charter, so the charters may ask you, what is your right ship your rating? Are you 5 star? Are you 4 star? So if you are anything less than 3, many charters won't touch you. So it depends upon your managers how well they are maintaining a vessel. So similarly in tankers also, you have got inspections, you have got SIRE reports. So there also what your point you have earned on those inspections. And accordingly, when you go to the market, a vessel, suppose similar vessel, competing for the same business, uh, and one gets the charter, other does not get the charter, possibly there's a difference in rating. So you should be, while choosing also managers, there are a few things you should be checking that the credentials and what is the fleet they are managing. And one advantage is there. So bigger the fleet, what happens is the costs get a proportion. So you possibly get a better price from the managers because he has got a technical team, and that same technical team is managing so many vessels. So the cost gets distributed among all. So you get a better price for your vessel. So thank you. We complete it here. So we end the chapter 5. We will start with chapter 6 very soon. Thank you. Take care.